Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, I told you I would come back and do the video of the takeaways from the hands-on march. There were 8 things that I listed that I was going to observe during the march, and this is what my observations found. The first question, number one, how many black people will show up? Now, we knew from the beginning that some black people were going to show up. That's just how some black people are. They're going to show up regardless because they're not going to miss an opportunity to be seen or to support it if that's what they wanted to do. But we knew that some were going to show up. But overwhelmingly, black people did not show up for that protest. Now, somebody on TikTok said that there were half of the protesters in Piedmont Park, I think it was in Atlanta, showed up. Well, maybe they did, but there were many clips of the marches, especially in large places like Boston and Philadelphia and New York and Houston and Dallas, and I didn't see a lot of black people. I saw about what I would expect. So, number one, black people pretty much stuck to their guns and didn't show up. Number two was how many white people would show up. Well, I think we can say that white people exceeded the number that we thought would have shown up. There were hundreds of thousands of them in the streets all over this country. Over 1,200 cities had protesters. So the white people showed up and showed out. According to Axios, millions of hands-off protesters by organizers count took to the streets, state capitals, federal buildings, congressional offices, and city centers to protest the Trump administration on Saturday. Millions. And it had to be millions because I mean people were packed in like sardines. They showed up. Number three, who will be the inspirational speaker at the march? Well, unfortunately, they didn't have very many inspirational speakers. And I'm sad to say that the one person who actually stood out was a black person because just like some black people couldn't stay away, we know that politicians weren't going to stay away. So this was kind of the takeaway speech from the march. This is Congressman Al Green from Texas, and he made, I guess, the inspirational speech of the moment.
I want President Trump to know that I will use my staff of freedom to proudly bring forth, a message that should say to him, he may not finish this term. He may not finish this term. He may not finish this term. He may not finish. He may not finish this term. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Because you are now sowing the seeds that can lead to a Congress being elected that will have the courage to not only have articles of impeachment filed, but to impeach him a third time. Impeach him a third time. A third time. And a Senate. We need a Senate that will convict him this time.
He gave a long speech, and probably because he's like 75 or 77 or something, they let him speak. But as inspirational speakers go, that was probably the biggest one of the march. Number four, what will the red states turnout be? There were videos from several red states with big crowds like Texas, even Nebraska, Kentucky, Alabama. The red states participated in this protest. And I'm just going to show you red state Georgia in Cobb County. This is what their turnout looked like. Number five was, will veterans show up for the protest? Well, the veterans showed up for the protest because 30% of federal workers are veterans. So they are being as affected by these cuts and all of this nonsense as everybody else. So they showed up too. Number six was, will the young people show up? Well, with crowds this large, it's hard to just pick out age and gender, but there are a lot of young people in these crowds. They didn't separate by age group. So everybody just went together. There are huge numbers of people in these cities. They're just people from all walks of life. I don't believe you could pick out any one group and say, well, it was just a bunch of old people. That's what people want to say. But when you zoom in on these crowds, you see children, you see young people, you see old people, you see everything in between. Everybody showed up for this march in cities all across this country. So I don't think that anybody can make the case that there were no young people. There were young people in the crowd because they are going to be affected by anything that happens in the next 4 years, because the way Donald Trump is setting things up, it's not just going to be the next 4 years. There's going to be years of undoing all of this damage that he's doing now. Number seven, what will the White House propaganda be? Well, I can show you better than I can tell you, and you can see it and hear it for yourself.
We have $6 or $7 trillion coming into our country, and we've never seen anything like it. The markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom, and the rest of the world wants to see, is there any way they can make a deal? They've taken advantage of us for many, many years. For many years, we've been at the wrong side of the ball, and I'll tell you what, I think it's going to be unbelievable. The thing that people have to talk about, we're up almost to $7 trillion of investment coming into our country, and you'll see how it's going to turn out. Our country's going to boom.
Translated, he's saying that he's going to not only wreck the American economy, but he's going to wreck the global economy, and everything is just going to be great because we're going to take a hit for a minute, and then everything is going to be great because everybody's been taking advantage of us, and he alone knows the answer. He knows what to do, and he's the only one who can solve the problem. So that's about it in a nutshell. And last but not least, I wanted to know what the police presence would be at that protest march. And it wasn't, it was almost no police presence. In New York City, there were over 100,000 people gathered before even the total number showed up. And the New York Police Department acknowledged that they had only sent out 44 police officers because they weren't expecting that big of a crowd, is what they said. But everybody noticed that there was not nearly the police presence in these marches as there would be if black people were out marching. But listen to what this person said.
See, I didn't know that this was well understood assignment that black people weren't going to show up to these march to the protest. I didn't know till I got there, and I was like, why is it just white people? Where are all the black and brown people? Like, I don't get it. Like, why are we fighting for them and they're not here? Hello. I get it now, because there was no fucking soldiers standing ready, no police on. I'm like, why? Where are all the police? Where are all the, like, because everyone's like, be safe. I'm like, well, fine, whatever. Like, well, I don't get it. Like, it was all old white people, and those old white people were all safe because the black people weren't there, because the black people are the reason they show up. The police and the martial law people try to come in the first place. It's their racist hatred of black and brown people that makes protesting dangerous. But across every state, there was no danger because there was no police there policing. And why weren't they policing? Because there were no black people. How sick and sad is that of a statement, white people? that you're just safe because they're not there, because the people that'll create the violence are the ones that are supposed to be protecting the peace? It's really not about that. It's really because they weren't there that you were safe. And that statement is scary because the violence and the attacks and the injustices that are happening in every state are to black and brown people by the people in power. So I get it now. I get it. You you shouldn't be there because you're going to be not safe.
Okay, these are the things that I noticed from the march. Let me know what you took away from the march. If you watched it or if you've heard about it or anything that you think about it, let me know what you got from it. Okay, thank you for listening. Give me a thumbs up and have a good evening.